I was halfway through my first coffee when the message popped into my inbox. Please come to offer at 9:00 a.m. Sandra. No subject, no explanation, just the kind of sentence that makes your stomach drop while your brain tries to bargain. I checked the calendar, convinced I'd missed a policy training or benefits briefing, but there was nothing. I glanced around the open office floor like the room would tell me what I'd done wrong. Everyone looked normal, which somehow felt worse. At 8:58 I was outside a car's glass door, smoothing my blouse with hands that suddenly wouldn't behave. The receptionist didn't make me wait. She motioned me into a small conference room where Sandra from a car sat with a neat folder, and next to her, Mark from legal, who never came to anything unless it was serious. They didn't smile. Sandra slid the folder toward me like a dealer laying down a losing hand. On top was a printed email, my name in the firm line, a client's name in the two, and a sentence that made my face go hot even as my blood went cold. Per our last conversation, I'm confirming the after-hours arrangement we discussed. Same rate for personal consulting, payable to my Venmo. Please keep this out of the company portal. Beneath, there were 3 screenshots of Venmo transactions with my username, a hotel folio with charges for 2 late night drinks and a room service burger, and an internal chat snippet where my account allegedly told a junior associate, "Don't add this to the deck, this is off book." "We received a complaint from the client," Mark said, voice perfectly level. "They're alleging you solicited them for paid side work, used company travel to facilitate it, and asked the team member to hide it." I swallowed hard enough to hear it. "That's not true," I said. "None of that is true." Sandra's eyebrows went up, but not in surprise. In the way of someone who has heard this precise sentence a dozen times and is grading delivery, she tapped the pages. "This email came from your corporate account at 10:41 p.m. last Thursday," she said. "The hotel bill is from the same night, same city as the client, and the Venmo handle is yours." "The handle is close to mine," I said, leaning in till the letters blurred and refocused. "Mine is at Sasha Marin." "That says that Sasha Marin with an extra I jammed between the A and S." "That's not me." It felt like catching a typo in a ransom note. Small, stupid, but the only thing I had. "If you check my real Venmo, there's nothing like that." Sandra scribbled something I couldn't see. "And the email?" she asked. "I didn't send it," I said, and hated how defensive it sounded in my own ears. "I was at home. My boyfriend was with me. We watched that dumb baking show with the collapsing cakes and fell asleep 5 minutes in. Check my VPN login. I wasn't online. Check my keycard. I left at 6:13 p.m. Check anything. Just don't stop at those screenshots." Mark laced his fingers, the posture of a man who has a policy memorized and would rather not recite it. "We will check," he said. "In the meantime, we're placing you on paid leave while we complete the investigation. We'll need your laptop and your badge." The word paid should have felt like mercy. It felt like the edge of a cliff you can't see until you're already falling. I set my badge and laptop on the table with the carefulness of someone setting down a baby and walked back across the office in that slow-motion way where time goes to madness and small things become too loud. The whir of the copier, the hollow click of my boots on laminate, the papery sound someone makes when they open a protein bar. I wanted to find a friend's eyes. I wanted to be invisible. I packed my tote with my notebook, charger, and the plant I'd kept alive for 2 years against all odds. It drooped in my hand like the punchline of a joke I didn't get. In the elevator, I texted my boyfriend of our meeting. "They think I did something I didn't," he called before the doors opened to the lobby. "What happened?" he asked, already grabbing his keys by the sound of it. I told him the short version in a voice that didn't feel like mine. He was at our apartment when I got there, hair still damp from his morning shower, concern written all over him in bold. "Billy is infrastructure AT, the kind of person who speaks fluent log file and treats panic like a ticket in a queue." Acknowledged, sign, resolved. He set me at the table, pushed a glass of water toward me, and made a list. "Okay," he said. Timeline. "Last Thursday at 10:41 p.m. an email allegedly from you." "Where were you?" "Couch, falling asleep, sitting up," I said. "We made nachos and you lectured me about the proper cheese to tip ratio." He smirked briefly. "I stand by that lecture," he said, and then he was back to business. "The N not connected," I said. I checked my time sheet this morning. I had 6 hours that day, nothing after 6. He opened his laptop and asked me to log into my corporate account. The moment I typed my password, he reached over and flipped the Wi-Fi off. "We're not going to let it call home while we poke," he said. He scrolled through my email settings with a surgeon's eyes, then checked security inside the admin dashboard, a page most of us never looked at until the day we need it. Right away, he found it. I logged into my account at 10:41 p.m. from a device labeled Chrome on macOS with an IP address that didn't match our home, network, or my phone. A few minutes earlier, at 10:36, there was a new authorized app, QuickNotes Pro. I had never heard of it. "That's an OAuth grant," he said. "You clicked allow on something." I shook my head, images flipping through my mind like flashcards. The train home, a bodega where I bought ice cream, our couch, a baking show, Lily's lecture about cheese. "I didn't click anything after I left work," I said. He clicked another pane, and there it was, a rule cree, rated at 10:38 p.m. to forward any message containing the word consulting or Venmo to an external Gmail address and mark as read. There was also a scheduled send entry at 10:41 bound to that exact client thread, with the draft body that matched the printed email in a TARS folder word for word. Elliot exhaled through his nose, a sound I know as his "we are not screwed yet" breath. "This was set up in your account by something that had full mail access," he said. "You might have hit a fake pop-up at some point. Or, did you log into webmail on a public computer?" I flinched because I had. The night before, our internal portal had timed out while I was on the train. I had tried to check something from my phone. A page asked for my password again with a banner that looked almost right, and like an idiot, I typed it while standing in a car full of strangers. "I used my phone on the train," I admitted. The page looked normal. He nodded like a doctor hearing about a cut you got washing dishes. "Could be a man in the middle on the transit Wi-Fi or a spoof domain," he said. "It happens. It sucks. But we can prove it." He drafted an email to Sandra and Mark with screenshots. The foreign IP session, the OAuth grant with the creation timestamp, the forwarding rule, the scheduled send entry, the user agent string that didn't match any of my devices. He attached my end history for the day with an export showing no connections after 6, my badge logs showing me leaving at 6:13, and a photo of us on the couch last Thursday, timestamp 10:50 p.m., where the nachos were the real incriminating detail. "You see, my boss Priya, who had always said, 'If anything ever gets weird, loop me in a tone that made me believe her." He hit send, then turned back to me. "We should also check your Venmo," he said. I opened the app. My handle at Sasha Marin looked back at me with its usual feed of friends paying each other for sushi with the knife and fish emojis. No payments in, no payments out that matched Odar's printout. He searched for at Sasha Marin and found an account created 8 days ago with 2 public payments, $7 under 50 and $300 from a username that matched the client's social handle. "They cloned your name," he said. "Added an I so it looks right at a glance." Classic. He screenshotted everything, grabbed the profile URL, and filed a report to Venmo from his phone while I just sat there feeling like my life had been rearranged when I wasn't looking. We spent the afternoon in the slow motion of fallout management. I called my bank and put a watch on my accounts. Illy made me change every password I had been too lazy to rotate. He dug through my emails, grants lists, and revoked 3 more apps I didn't remember authorizing. "People build these phishing kits like Lego now," he said, not unkindly. "They don't need to be geniuses. They just need you to be busy." I cried a little when he said that, because being busy felt like my whole identity lately. The person you can count on to pick up the slack, stay late, learn the new software, schmooze the difficult client, be the calm one when the Slack pains turn into a blizzard. Busy is how I feel useful. Busy is how you miss the step and fall. Priya called around 3. "I saw Elly's email," she said, her voice a blend of angry and relieved. "We're pulling logs. Sandra wants to be thorough, but this is obviously malicious." Hearing someone say malicious instead of your fault made something unclench in my ribs. "Thank you," I said, and meant it so hard I had to sit down. "We'll be in touch," she said. "Try to rest. Resting is not my specialty, especially not when your name and a number very close to your name are being passed around like a cautionary tale." I baked banana bread because that's what I do when I need to turn chaos into chemistry. Billy, who does not like banana bread, ate 2 slices because he likes me. We slept badly and woke up to emails from it asking for my phone's location history, and any screenshots of the page I thought might have been the fake login. I didn't have the page, but I had location data, and the photo on the couch, and the natural pen still sitting in the sink to corroborate my alibi, because mess is evidence if you keep it long enough. The next day was a Saturday, and I wanted to disappear into anything ordinary, but my brain wouldn't stop gnawing. I kept thinking about the hotel folio in that folder. 2 Negrinis and a burger at 11:58 p.m. at the Morrow on 6th. I googled. The hotel was 3 blocks from the client's office. The photo of the bar on their website looked exactly like the photo the client had posted to his Instagram story last Thursday night. Same marble, same fern, same self-satisfied smile over a rock glass. Under it he'd written, "Life is about partnerships," and tagged a company that was not ours. The tag led to a marketing agency run by a guy named Rowan with a headshot that screamed, "I call myself a thought leader," unironically. I clicked through his posts and found, 3 hours later, a photo of the same client, the same bar, a caption about aligning around values, and in the corner of the frame, the tiniest sliver of a woman's sleeve in a pattern of navy with white dots that looked exactly like the blouse Maya from our sales team had been wearing on Thursday. I zoomed until it fuzzed. Hilly leaned over my shoulder. "We're in too deep," he said, which is his way of saying keep going. Monday morning, Ada called me back in. This time Sandra had a different folder, and Priya sat beside her. "We reviewed the logs," Sandra said, and her voice had edges now pointed in a different direction. "There was an unauthorized login to your account from an external IP. The forwarding rule and the scheduled message were created within minutes of an OAuth grant to a suspicious third-party app. We believe your credentials were compromised via a spoof login page. We're wiping your account and issuing you a new laptop." Really fought anger in my chest like cats in a bag. "And the Venmo?" I asked. "Imposter account," Priya said, sliding a printed email from Venmo's trust and safety team. "Already shut down." "And the hotel?" I asked, even though I knew I should probably take my win and leave the room. Sandra's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "That appears to be unrelated to you," she said. "We discovered the client was courting other vendors, while also attempting to secure personal consulting arrangements with members of our staff." The word members did something interesting to my spine. "Which members?" I asked. She didn't answer. Priya did. "We're handling it internally," she said carefully. "Do you know if Maya was involved?" I asked, pushing because I am sometimes the kind of person who pushes when I should let things lie. Priya didn't blink. "We appreciate your cooperation," she said, "which is half for mind your business and breathe." They walked me through the reinstatement paperwork like this was a formality and not a resurrection. Told me to take the rest of the day and come back fresh tomorrow. I walked out holding a new laptop like a newborn. Eerily texted 3 firework emojis. I should have floated. Instead, I went to the bathroom, locked a stall, and cried the kind of silent cry you learn in middle school when you don't want anyone to know you've been crying. When I came out, Maya was at the sinks, dabbing lip gloss on with the kind of concentration you reserve for surgery. We made eye contact in the mirror. She smiled too wide. "Hey you," she said. "How are you holding up?" "Fine," I said, because the alternative was an area. "You fired," she said and pouted. "This quarter is a beast." Her blouse was navy with white dots. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe the universe is lazy and repeats. I mumbled something and left. The rest of that week, my Slack lit up with people saying "welcome back" with too many exclamation points, as if punctuation could scrub what they thought when Sandra's first email went out. Priya put me on a less high-stakes account for balance and told me we'd revisit raises next cycle once this test settles, which is its own kind of punishment wrapped in a reasonable tone. I told myself I'd stop digging. Then the client posted the photo of a tasting menu at a restaurant in the same hotel, 2 wine glasses touching in a way that is only done for a camera that is love. The sleeve in the corner was navy with white dots. At this point, I could have taken the screenshots and tossed them into my camera roll graveyard. Instead, I sent them to Ali. He wrote back, "Do you want to know or do you want to be okay?" which is a question I wish he asked me the day I learned how to read, because I have always chosen knowing and then wondered why okay felt so far away. I told him I wanted to know. He sighed in text, then used the skills he uses to keep companies' insides from spilling out onto the internet for money. Within a day, he had pulled a publicly accessible vendor list from the client's web staging site that some intern had left unprotected. There it was, a new marketing partner, Rowan's agency, in a line that named her sales liaison who had facilitated the introduction, Maya's full name, spelled correctly, no extra letters. Billy didn't take a victory lap. He set his phone down like it had told him a secret he didn't enjoy. "Do not burn your life down with this," he said. "This is not your fire to put out. Your name is clean. Let it stay clean." I tried. I exercised the new muscle I was growing called restraint. It lasted until Thursday's pipeline meeting, when Maya smiled at me across the table like someone signing a playbill, and Priya announced a special recognition for above and beyond partnership efforts. I felt my face go hot. "Sorry," I heard myself say, like my mouth had gotten up to speak without me. Above and beyond meaning what exactly? The room did that little inhale rooms do. "Priya's," I said, "sit." I stayed standing. "Meaning cultivating strong relationships," she said. "As always." "With which vendors?" I asked. Maya's smile thinned. "We all know relationships are complicated," she said lightly. "Clients have needs. We meet them." The word needs hung in the air like a dead smell. I sat because there's a fine line between truth, talent and career suicide, and I could feel the soles of my shoes curling over it. After the meeting, Priya closed her door and said, "Don't." I said, "What if they do it again to someone else?" She said, "I was aware in the way you say gravity exists." I left with my mouth full of words that tasted like pennies. 2 weeks later, the ping from a reporter landed in my inbox asking for comment on allegations of vendor kickbacks inside your company. I forwarded it to legal with a note and watched the quiet storm roll. That afternoon, I suspended my pending review. She did not make eye contact with me on her way out. The client terminated their personal consultative trial and issued a statement about miscommunication that made me want to throw my monitor into the sun. Rowan posted a note-app apology to his LinkedIn about blurry boundaries, the corporate equivalent of my bad. There were no mugshots. There were no perp walks. There were consequences that looked like LinkedIn posts and severed contracts and a calendar invite that disappeared and took my raise with it. People asked me at happy hour if I felt vindicated. I said I felt tired. Ilya and I sat on the couch one night, and he asked if I'd learned anything. I said I'd learned that if you keep every receipt, there's less room for someone to write a story about you that isn't true. I said I'd learned that busy is not a virtue if it makes you careless. I said I'd learned that when a her calls you at 900-5500, your whole life can be rearranged, and sometimes it will be put back not quite the same on purpose, like a warning. He put his head on my shoulder and said he learned I make a mean banana bread. We laughed the kind of laugh that's really just oxygen finally coming back. After a month, things were normal in the way a healed bone is normal, functional, a little ache when the weather changes. I changed my commute so I didn't have to pass the train car that swallowed my password. I started using a hardware key that hangs on my keyring and clicks like a seatbelt every time I log in. I wrote a checklist and taped it under my monitor. Check sender. Check domain. Check rules. Don't rush. Don't click tired. Don't feed the fire. I kept my head down long enough that when a new client came in, Priya put me on the pitch. We won. The win slid into my inbox like proof that life, despite its talent for chaos, still rewards you if you hang around long enough with clean hands. The day the offer letter for a promotion hit my email, I walked to the bar on purpose with a lemon bar from the bakery downstairs. I set it on Sandra's desk and said, "Thank you for listening," when it would have been easier not to. She blinked, surprised enough to look like a person and not a process. "Thank you for not screaming," she said, and we both laughed because the truth is we both had, just not at each other. If you're looking for the tidy ending where everyone who wronged me gets what they deserve in ways that are dramatic and public, I can't give you that. Maya will get another job because that's how this world works. The client will hire another agency and post photos of cocktails with someone else's sleeve in the corner. Rowan will keynote a conference where he says authentic 8 times and does not burst into flames. But the morning I got my promotion, I opened my desk drawer and found the plant I'd hauled home the day they took my badge. I had brought it back without thinking, and here it was, leaves glossy, little new shoots elbowing up through the soil like persistence. I watered it and thought about the date I sat at a hair's table and believed them more than I believed me because proof is loud and panic is louder. I thought about Lee flipping off the Wi-Fi like a priest shutting a door, and the way my life held because we knew where to look. I thought about how, for weeks after, I would flinch every time my phone buzzed at 8:59, expecting the floor to open. It didn't. Not that day. Not again, not yet. If you need a moral, I have two. One is small. Never type a password on public Wi-Fi. And if you have to, use the app, not the web. And if you have to do that, put your hand over the screen like you're hiding a note in 8th grade. Then go home and change it. The second is bigger and harder. When someone tries to write your ending for you with a forged sentence, do not spend your breath insisting you didn't hold the pen. Collect the paper. Beat it. Save the file. Pull the log. Eat a slice of banana bread if you need to stay in the room. Then hand the stack to someone who knows how to read and wait while the truth does the boring. Beautiful work of sorting itself into a story that holds up when you stop holding it. By 500, the first day, my life was unrecognizable. By the end of the month, I could see it again. Not exactly the same, but mine, with a little checklist taped under the monitor and a hardware key that clicks like a seatbelt and a plant that reminds me that surviving is often a matter of watering what didn't die while you were busy proving you didn't either.